When you talk about how this is kind of, again, stacking up on each other, there's stress, there's mental, emotional drains that are going on. How much more difficult does it become to compartmentalize everything? You have a wife back home, you've got a family back home, but if you're anything less than an A+ at your job, someone could get killed, you could get killed. What's that like with every passing day, and how big of a struggle is it to keep things in, all your ducks in a row?
Yeah, initially I'd say it was pretty easy. The wife and I have been married for about a year and a half, 2 years before we went to Fort Bragg. We didn't have our first child till 2007, so it was easier on me to, kind of rationalize. All right, if I get killed, it's just my wife. She'll move on and she'll have her son. When things really started changing for me is when our first child was born in 2007. And so now I've got a little bit more skin in the game, you know what I mean? And definitely a reason to stick around. Not that, that was an issue, but now I'm fighting for once I started having kids.
When you have this kid, your first child is obviously a life-changing event for everyone. It's 2007. When you had the next deployment post your first baby being born, did you find it harder or easier to leave? Because you say you got more skin in the game, but we're fighting for more now. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. It's like I have a baby here, but I'm fighting for more. And if I got to fight, I got to be over there. I can't be here.
Yeah. Definitely knew that I had more skin in the game. Kind of one of the things, like talking about my retirement maybe a little bit later, but one of the things, to put it in context, I kind of grew up without my dad, right? So now that I have a son, I've got all of these things kind of pulling into the back of my mind. Okay, I want to be around for my son. But, my dad wasn't around. And so that played on a lot of my decision making, especially towards the end of my career. But yeah, it made it hard. When he was just an infant, not so bad. But as he kind of grew up, and by the time he was 5 years old, it became really, real difficult because he knew I was going away at that point. He did fine.
Did you ever have conversations with your son, even at a young age, of, your dad is in a dangerous job, he does very dangerous things, and there's a chance that I could get hurt or killed? Were you open with your children about the line of work you were in, or did you try to shield them as much as you could?
Yeah, I tried to shield them as much as I could. Obviously, they knew I was in the Army and I was going to work. And I don't know if we ever had any conversations with him in particular as he was getting older about what I did. He had no idea, what I did for work in the Army. He just knew that I'd get up and go to work. And then sometimes I'd have to go on these long trips.
I can't imagine the stress and the anxiety that could, that could create, seeing your dad walk out a door, not really knowing. And I think the fact that you said, again, you kind of shielded him from it sounds like a logical, smart decision. You don't want to scare the shit out of your kids, right? Did you notice that did you experience any like personal changes in how you interacted with your family, other people, as these combat tours stacked on top of one of another, and you're going through a lot of traumatic events, you're losing buddies? Did you notice that your personality was changing in any way? Was the way that you spoke with your wife starting to change, the way you spoke with your kids? Or did it not really have any grave impact on your personal family life?
No, it did. And there was a point where I could start noticing some changes, a little bit more irritability, not sleeping well, kind of all the things that come after, many combat tours. Yeah, so there were some changes. I didn't exactly know what was going on at the time, but now looking back, it was a combination of stress, death, some mild traumatic brain injury from absorbing all the concussive blast waves over many years, and so it was changing things.
And one of the things I know that we'd gone over when we were talking about this is there was a death that kind of stuck